Linda, our HOA president, has towed vehicles, destroyed landscaping, and dragged neighbors into lawsuits worth millions. She truly believes she's the undisputed monarch of our subdivision. But yesterday, Linda crossed a line that wasn't just local or state. She violated international law. She attempted to confiscate my property over unpaid HOA fines, claiming absolute authority. What she didn't know was that my property doesn't legally fall under U.S. jurisdiction. It's designated diplomatic land. And when she sliced the lock off my gate, she didn't alert the local police department. She set off a silent alarm tied directly to the U.S. Department of State. Watch how Linda went from HOA tyrant to federally detained illegal foreign intruder in under 5 minutes. If you think entitled neighbors need consequences, make your voice heard. Smash that subscribe button and join the fight. You don't want to miss what happens next. It all began when I inherited my grandfather's estate. He wasn't just wealthy. He was a former ambassador representing a small European nation. The house itself is historic, elegant, and wrapped in layers of legal complexity. To honor his legacy, I displayed the official consular crest and national flag on the front gate. It looked dignified, but Linda despised it. Within an hour, she stormed over. "Alex, remove that hideous symbol immediately," she barked. "It's not on the approved decoration list. Only American flags or holiday wreaths are permitted." She didn't knock politely. She pounded like she was executing a raid. She was already writing a violation notice before I even opened the door. I explained that the crest had been mounted there since 1985, decades before her HOA board existed. Facts didn't matter to Linda. She doesn't process logic. She only understands dominance. She reached out and tried to tear it down with her bare hands. I calmly told her, "Linda, this isn't decor. It's a historical and legal designation. You cannot remove it." She laughed, sharp, cruel, and confident. "Sweetheart, I can make you do whatever I want. I'm the HOA president. You have 24 hours to take this garbage down, or I'm fining you $500 per day." I looked her dead in the eyes and said, "Linda, you should be very careful. This property is protected in ways you don't understand." She smirked, slapped the citation directly onto the crest, and walked away. That was her first official offense against a foreign nation. 2 weeks later, the fines totaled $7,000. Linda was thrilled. She was already talking about using the money to build a decorative fountain on her street. Meanwhile, I spent 3 nights digging through dusty boxes in the attic until I found it. The original 1960s agreement signed by the U.S. State Department. It smelled like age, authority, and victory. I made a high-resolution copy, framed it, and placed it in plain view by the front window. I wanted her to back down. But Linda's ego is far larger than her intelligence. She saw the document and laughed it off. I decided to give her one final chance. I didn't email her. I sent a formal notice on official consular letterhead. It read, "Notice of diplomatic status under the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations, Article 22. These premises are inviolable. The HOA has no jurisdiction. Cease all enforcement immediately." I thought that would end it. I was wrong. Linda showed up at my door holding the letter, ripped it to shreds in front of my Ring camera, and shouted, "Vienna Convention? We're in Ohio, you moron. I don't care about your fake laws. Pay the $7,000 by Friday, or we seize your house and throw you out." She meant it. Friday morning, she arrived with a locksmith and 2 board members. They intended to take my home. Linda stood at my gate holding massive bolt cutters. I stepped onto the porch with a cup of coffee. I didn't raise my voice. Neighbors lined the street to watch. Mrs. Higgins peeked through her curtains. Even the mailman stopped his truck. Linda loved the attention. She raised the bolt cutters like a trophy, completely unaware she was posing for federal evidence. I calmly said, "Linda, if you cut that lock, you are committing a federal felony. This property is not American soil." She rolled her eyes. "Watch me." The lock snapped and hit the ground. She opened the gate and stepped onto the driveway. Smiling, she announced, "I run this town." What she didn't know was that the lock was tied to a silent diplomatic security system. Not 911, Not local police. Diplomatic security service. The moment her foot hit the pavement, the alert was sent. She wasn't trespassing anymore. She was invading protected foreign property. I checked my watch. "You've got about 3 minutes, Linda." She was drilling into my front door when the ground began to vibrate. 3 black unmarked SUVs boxed in her car at the end of the driveway. No sirens, just flashing lights and men in suits. Her agent stepped out wearing vests marked federal agent. The lead agent looked like authority personified. He walked past me and grabbed Linda's arm. The drill clattered to ground. For the first time, she looked terrified. She tried her HOA voice, but it cracked. She even waved and said, "Finally, officers, arrest this man for unpaid HOA fines." The agent didn't hesitate. He spun her around and cuffed her. "Ma'am, you are under arrest for trespassing on protected diplomatic property and violating Protection of Foreign Officials Act." They confiscated her clipboard and bolt cutters as evidence. As they shoved her into the SUV, she looked at me in panic. I simply held up my diplomatic passport and smiled. The HOA was dissolved 3 days later after the federal government threatened the entire board with prosecution. Linda is currently awaiting trial. She wanted to control the neighborhood. Now she answers to the feds. Never mess with a property flying a flag you don't recognize. If you want to see Linda's court hearing, hit like and subscribe. See you next time